What's up, everybody? It's happening. It's the
Hello.
Practical AI Show, episode number 22.
Welcome
And
to
it's
our
December 26th. It's Boxing Day in Canada, but we still do this thing regardless.
welcome to our Practical AI show where we're going to be talking about what's happened this week in all the news in AI world and all the latest and the greatest. We will have my tea is ready. We will talk about news. We'll have a couple demos of what I'm learning this week. So I'm going to share with you what I've learned and how maybe you can find it helpful and useful for yourself. And we will be doing a deep dive on the company called Descript and what painful lessons they learned. So hopefully we can learn from them and not repeat the same lessons. And I will have a quick deep dive into what we'll dream about what the airline experience could be like. And then we'll finish up with AI funding. So we'll do a very quickie today. Well, let's see, quickie. Haha. We always say that it could be an hour again, but we'll see. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for being here. And let's start. Do you have anything else to say before we start off?
Now, let's kick it off. What segment should we start with?
Hi, Lawrence. Of course, the news. Let's do the news first.
All right. I think that sets the table nicely.
Yes. So I actually want to share. What I'm going to do now is share with you the news. Can you see this?
Whoa. You got a notebook for this?
Listen, notebook is my new superpower. Okay. So check this out. First of all, Merry Christmas to those people who celebrate. We did yesterday. We had a good time. So I actually wanted to create a news update with a little Christmassy vibe in there. So you can see this, okay?
Yep, looks amazing. We got some snowflakes. We got a Christmas tree.
Yes. So what happened this week? So the big news that happened first is the Genesis mission. So US government and 24 tech giants launched an AI infrastructure initiative. So companies like OpenAI, Google, NVIDIA, they align on AI standards, making it a strategic national asset. And the game just got smaller. Competition now centers on owning standards, not just building the best product. So 24 companies now are in cahoots with the government on AI standards. So, what do you think about that?
Companies in cahoots with the government establishing standards. Boy, nothing could go wrong there. A really strong history on this type of topic.
So anyway, I wonder what's going to be happening in that room. But I guess all the big players are there. Look at the labels. I mean, the logos. So I had to cover it, and it happened before Christmas. So this will be interesting. It's called the Genesis.
Let's just bury that in that happy holiday news cycle.
Yeah,
I don't want people looking too hard at this.
I wonder what they're going to be talking about. It's model makers, chip manufacturers, cloud providers, defense contractors align on the single initiative. So it's not just partnership. We're talking about like what are they doing? I want to know what they're.
There's a lot of concern over like security matters, national security kinds of things. I gotta admit, I like try to trace these things. Like I think about it like a chess game, like play out some of these moves and kind of understand the risks. I don't really get it. In this case, I don't really get it. It's like all I see is this potentially limiting the playing field in ways that are negative for innovation and negative for freedom of usage.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a black pillar about this, but like I'm just not seeing too much besides like corporate gatekeeping. And if you establish a standard, so we see this with like airlines did this. They made it so that they could basically shut out any new competition by establishing these standards and rules, regulations that only they could afford. So then new players can't get into the game. And like I look at this, I'm like, how is this any different?
Yeah,
any different to me.
For sure. This is what's happening. So this happened very quietly, but you've heard it here first. News number 2 on the docket. There is the AI native airline in town. How would you pronounce that name? Right?
Riyadh.
Riyadh.
Yep.
Riyadh Air launches as the world's first AI native airline. So all operations, booking, baggage service were architected around AI from day one. And AI first design creates structural advantages speed, cost that legacy companies can't match. So interesting fact about Riyadh is that they were launched in 2 years ago, and by Crown Prince of, I guess, Saudi Arabia, because
Yep.
that's where they're from. And they wanted to be the first AI native, company. So the first flight happened in October, and they're just literally 2 months operationally old, but they've been kind of cooking this behind the scenes for about 2 years. And we're kind of going to do a quick little deep dive on this later today, just sort of reimagining what would that look like when there's no legacy things to overcome, but you can just start from scratch and reimagine things from scratch.
And it's sort of relatable because we all have these painful travel experiences. Kind of understand, your flight doesn't make you don't make your connection. You've got to then make adaptive changes, like maybe you need to get a hotel, maybe your ride, if you had a ride share planned out, something like this, you've got connections that then need to be modified. So we all sort of have an experience with the pain and the problems with these industries have been exposed just through our general experience. We realize the information sharing is not good. We realize that like downstream adaptations are not necessarily good. We pray for that gate agent who is really conscientious and like wants to help and makes things happen for us when things go wrong. But
Right.
in the absence of that, we're kind of screwed. What Riyadh Air is doing is an interesting sort of, we'll look into what they are doing and sort of try and future trip about what does that look like for us? What could this look like? What problems could this solve with these experiences that we've all had?
What will happen if we start asking, what does this look like if we design it for AI versus how can we build the AI chatbots on top of something, right? So I'm all for it. And I know airlines in kind of Middle East, they're famous for being super luxurious and just kind of putting the customer first. Right? I mean, I've flown a bunch of those and they already are nice to fly, but I'm really curious to see what that would look like. So that's what happened.
Well, this sort of innovation has to come from outside the U.S. The U.S. airline industry is too regulated to have anything meaningful come out of it.
Well, and so
this is the only hope.
They're in partnership with IBM. So that's what they're doing. And then their CEO is experienced CEO from other airline. I don't remember which one that was, but I thought that was an interesting piece of news. I'm excited. I'm here for it. And the air travel definitely needs it when everybody can agree. The holiday, the travel on the airlines is becoming, I just feel like it's just getting actually less and less customer friendly and more not. So news number 3, we'll deep dive in a little bit, but news
more
number
government interfering with AI in news item number 3.
Well, so actually this is not American government. What happened is December 24, Italy apparently doesn't like they mandated openness. Basically, they mandated that Meta cannot gatekeep which AI tools access billions of WhatsApp users. So this signals the regulatory phase isn't coming, it's active and it's spreading. So Italy's competition authority issued an interim order requiring Meta to suspend WhatsApp terms that bared rival AI chatbots, mandating openness during an ongoing investigation into abuse of dominance. And this follows similar EU probes and signals active enforcement on kind of how they're going to enforce this, not just give warnings.
So what's interesting, so basically what they're saying is that Meta has to have an API for WhatsApp, and any AI, anyone who wants to put code in there to access that API, they're going to have to leave it open to them to be able to do that. Meta had said, well, if you're open AI, you can't do this. And so they had gate kept. They said, okay, you can't. And Italy is saying, no. You need an open API, and it just needs to be an open sort of thing. I actually think the EU has a pretty strong track record of this type of directionality in the last 10 years.
Right.
Well, they do get some things right. And I think this is one of them. So
it was interesting that the era of we decide which tools you can use is ending. So if Meta, with billions in lobbying power, cannot prevent this, no one can. So every platform, Apple, Google, Amazon, just realize that their walled garden strategy has an expiration date. So the winners will be companies that play offense on integration, not defense on gatekeeping.
I do
So,
like that. I like that phrasing in particular.
right. I mean, I thought that was interesting that Italy is the one. Don't they have a very interesting prime minister there? That's kind of a
Georgia Maloney or something like that. She's been in the news for sort of roller coaster stuff, wild
well,
twists
it's
and turns with her. So.
I like how they're like Meta cannot get away with what they used to get away with, and I think that's a good sign for a lot of companies that you can't just say gatekeep things and you got to open up your garden. News number 4, Amazon launches Alexa Plus Agent. It's a voice interface shifts from Q&A to action taking, booking trips, scheduling, processing payments. So finally, Amazon is here with some kind of AI movement, I guess. And Alexa Plus got introduced earlier in 2025, but this news from this week has new integrations. So now Alexa can take actions for you instead of just, voice as an kind of interface. Now it's voice as operating system. You're not asking for information anymore. You're delegating work to an agent that speaks your language. I don't know if I want my Alexa to go and do things for me, but maybe, the younger generation likes that. What do you think about it?
Well, so this goes with the larger trend that we've been talking about for weeks now. It's AI doing things. I
Yeah.
don't care about AI chat bots. I don't care. I care about AI doing stuff.
Right.
And this makes total sense for Alexa. You've got this device in home. You've got this device that's connected to Amazon and your Amazon data. They actually have partnerships. I think you can connect your Spotify to it, so you could like have Alexa play songs from your Spotify, for example. So they've got some existing partnerships and some connections that give you even more potential power. And it's time to start doing things within those various contexts. Like Alexa, we're out of AAA batteries. Next thing you know, you got your Prime order showing up.
I mean, in that way, it would be great. I guess it's just me trying to let go of control of like what I want Alexa to do and what I don't.
Well, I don't want an Alexa anywhere near my house, but still.
But basically, like that's another sign of that the voice interaction is becoming more and more critical. I guess the trend for 2026 is that if your product is not integrated with the like it's not voice interactive, it's gonna be behind. So that's another reason why it's kind of going, handling complex workflows through speech, and Alexa is kind of showing the way that's actually first usable thing for a lot of people around the country.
Right. Whenever I see this stuff, I think about this fictional queen. And the queen speaks something, and it just happens around her. Her minions scramble and they get it done. The queen speaks something into existence. We need more butter. We need more batteries. We
Right.
need more whatever. And it just happens. And that's kind of what this is to me. You speak it into existence, like the way our workflows are in reality. We realize something like, oh crap, I need to do this, and then we actually have to go do it. If you could just speak it into the universe the second it pops up into your head, and then it's like the action is set into motion and the task is completed, that's incredible. That's going to up things. Like for a procrastinator like myself who batches activities and can't be bothered with mundane things like that, if I could just speak it the second I realize it, like in that moment, I would actually have a chance of getting things.
Well, maybe
things
we
done.
should get an Alexa now. There you go. How do you feel about that?
I don't want to get it done that badly.
All right, news number 5. Google simplifies Gemini UI. It had advanced features, and ChatGPT launches personalized year with ChatGPT recaps. They both signals point in the same direction: lifestyle integration, not utility. So you can see in the picture right here, just kind of Gemini is going more simple. ChatGPT is kind of becoming more personalized and more touchy-feely. So I wonder if that's kind of they're sort of going their own paths of like what Google was always about, simplicity and as little as possible, right, on their interface. And ChatGPT now is trying to obviously monetize a lot of different things, so they're becoming more of that kind of touchy-feely screen. So they two opposite moves this week. Gemini got simpler and ChatGPT got personal, and both companies are asking the same question: how do we move from the tool you use to the thing you live with? So that's kind of what they're going to. And they're trying to be separate. A year with ChatGPT, I think I'm going to do that at some point. I'd like to know how my things improved over this year, like where I started in the beginning of the year and where I'm at. But beyond that, I'm not sure how useful that would be for me, honestly. But that's the news of the week. The UI is changing, and they're kind of claiming what are they going to be, basically.
Yawn.
I know. But hey, I think something about UI is clicking. To me,
I agree with that. Yeah.
the simpler UI is, the better for AI native products in general. I just want a search bar, and I just want to go, right? Whatever I go. And so, but what was cool about this week news, to wrap this up, is that we are seeing more and more integration in the real daily life, right? The airline, we've got Alexa kind of, doing her thing. And so I thought that was interesting that this is happening. I love it.
Yep. AI's
And
got to do stuff.
you are here first. So before I move on to our I guess we're going to do the deep dive in a little bit. I wanted to show you guys something that I've played with. So last week I walked you through a demo. So today I'm going to do a quick demo as well. Can you see my screen right now?
Yes.
Okay, so this is my practical AI for this week, kind of the planning. These are all my documents that I found, and I did a really good demo last week about how I use a notebook. But today I wanted to kind of show you my tweaks of how I've learned, like what I've learned this week. So with the news, my news are over here, right? So all the news that I like the format, the way they are, is over here. So the first document that I created, I love my infographics, because I think infographics is the best way of kind of showing, how things truly work. So I wanted to show you the progression of me learning a new thing. So this was my first attempt of doing AI news. Okay. So this was the same thing we just talked about. You saw my last iteration of this infographic, but look how much clunkier it is, right? It's the same information from that AI news documents, right? There's 5 pieces of information in here, but look how disorganized this is. So this was me saying, this is the source document I want, right? And then basically clicking this thing and say, I want an infographic. And then this is the one it gave me. What do you think? Not impressive, right? The first one.
Well, compared to the other one, I was like, okay. So you look at this. What idea did you have? You're like, I don't.
I was like, well, I was
frustrating.
frustrating. I was frustrating because I was like, this is not what I want. I want something that kind of more visually stimulating, that kind of tells a story. And so I was like, how do I do this? And then I remembered that you can literally prompt anytime you create an infographic or anything in here. You can write a prompt by clicking this quick little thing right here, right? And giving it basically a prompt. So you can have different language, you can do concise, you can do detailed, you can do different orientation, and put a little prompt and then click generate. So you can, keep the source document going. And then I did this one with the prompt. This was the prompt, create infographic. So I was more specific. So create infographic like 1 week in AI updates. Follow the structure of the document for every news item, because remember, you have to click the source that you want. Make it interesting and engaging, and you're covering the news for the week in the AI world. Much better, right?
Yeah.
More detailed, more,
like the color blocks.
Color blocks, very fascinating. And then I was like, okay, this is cool. This is great. I definitely like it. Now I'm going to be using prompts like this for the next week. So I will be having more and more unified, or I guess standardized look for the news that we have. And then I was like, you know what? This week is a cool week. It's kind of a Christmas week. So why don't I go ahead and write, the same prompt, but I just add a hint of Christmas week celebration. So that way we have a little bit of a Christmas spirit. So I thought that was cool. And I just wanted to share this quick little demo of how you can make your infographics as cool as possible, because there's not such thing as a prompt in Notebook LM, but you can do a prompt every time you create an infographic and kind of build on top of that and just delete the ones that you don't want. So
I mean, it's pretty cool because we know how, especially if anyone in the audience has used has attempted to edit images with AI, it's painful.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it just gets worse, and I just abandoned the project. Here you have A to B to C, and C is obviously more of what you wanted. The image is warm, it's Christmassy, the images are cool. Like, this is great.
Right. And then I think for the next week, I'm probably going to stick with more or less this. I think this is kind of cool. Anyway,
That's
but
good too.
this is my quick one little thing that hopefully is helpful for you. So you can do, if you're going to be doing like a slide deck, you can always give a prompt to a slide deck, make it, less text, more engaging, this and that. So this is now you have a little superpower over here, and you can create anything you want with a little prompt that would make your images pop even more, because infographics are such a cool way to stand out. Anyway, moving on.
They apply in so many different ways. It's not just if you run a show, if you're doing a report in a company, anything. Showing information. If you're showing or demonstrating to other people, this is useful.
Basically, guys, if you have any I think the whole world now works in Google Docs. So as long as you have a Google Doc, right, you can add the source. You can go to notebooklm.google.com, create your notebook, add the source, and play with it. If you post something on X, if you post something on LinkedIn, these visuals, they are so powerful. They catch their attention because text is boring. I don't want text anymore. I want something that gets me engaged visually and kind of has that wow effect. So this is a cool way to make it wow. And you can steal my prompt here too if you want to create visually stimulating infographics, but it's pretty straightforward.
Make it wow, steal my prompt.
Exactly. All right. Well, let's move on to our deep dive. Let's do a deep dive, and then we'll go to economics. What do you think?
Yeah. So we got to do the Riyadh thing because I got lots to say about that. But
yeah. So we'll do the Riyadh. So here's what I wanted to show you guys. We already kind of covered the news. I wanted to go in once I saw the news, and I thought, let's kind of look at how are the airlines that we just kind of read about, right? This is Riyadh one. How are they different from kind of the clunky airlines that we have here? Can you see this visual?
Yes, the text is a little small. You might want to just read it when you have the mouse over it. Like 6 to 9 month decision velocity. Okay, there we go. Nice.
All right, so basically here's what I created. Instead of giving you a boring presentation, I wanted to kind of show you why AI native, why is Riyadh really using that AI native in their pitch, right? So I thought that was worthwhile to kind of talk about. Okay, can you see this? I made it bigger. I don't know.
Yep. Yeah, you just pan around on the document. It's all good. It's a little odd in Notion, the panning controls.
I know.
I'm always doing the wrong thing and then figuring out what's right.
Well, we're doing this. Is it better, the text?
Yeah, that's good.
So we talked about that Riyadh Air is the world's first AI native airline, highlights a critical business shift. So while legacy carriers bolt AI onto 50-year-old systems, new competitors build an entire operation around a unified AI core, creating a massive advantage in speed, efficiency, and customer experience. So what does that mean? So look at their decision velocity, right? So legacy carriers, you got to do, decision. It takes 6 to 9 months to make a decision. With AI native, it could be days to weeks because everything is kind of supported and talking to each other. There's no more data silos. Actually, sorry, this is not the right one. This is what happens when you don't delete things and then you want to use it. Not a one. Okay, well, Did I delete it? Okay, this is much better. All right, I like this one is the first one that I created. So you go from 6 to 9 months to days to weeks. There's no data silos because everybody's talking to each other, and real-time automation from limited to full stack. So if you look at kind of this looks like WordPress too when you try to add AI to it. So this is what every airline looks like, right? You're trying to add a Tesla engine to 1970s Chevy. So legacy carriers spent billions of dollars kind of bottling AI onto their super old systems, creating operational friction. And like you said, they have a lot of rules, a lot of regulations. This airline is brand new; it's 2 years old, and it's built for speed. So I actually think this is kind of like that Uber moment. Remember when Uber first came in and they tried to sell their software to cab companies, and cab companies were like, we don't need this, we're fine. But they're like, but it's so amazing, cab can come directly to your customer's location, you don't have to explain anything. And they're like, we don't care.
Yeah,
So
no
I feel
calls. You can do it on an app.
right. I feel like this is kind of that moment. It's like the first airline following the kind of giving this route of showing what it could look like when you're building. I mean, they've got this luxury to do this. And I didn't realize, but like for any airline to implement any data, like I know it's going to be long. Like who has been on the customer service call with airline that sometimes you have to be for hours, right? Waiting for things. That's just like for a call. Can you imagine how long it takes for them to implement a new idea and not being poo-pooed by regulations of how it's not safe or this or that? But how this is so bad. Like it gets bogged down into the slow iteration cycle. And here we have, ideas.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's explain that cycle real quick. You got a commercial team discusses the idea, maybe the executive team. Then an idea is generated. IT assesses feasibility against all their legacy systems and identifies like what it would take to do this. Compliance goes through and looks at regulatory stuff. This is huge with airlines. Oh my God, probably the worst. This and healthcare got to be the biggest examples of this in the world. Finance models the impact on the company. Then IT comes back again and says, okay, here's our timeline. Here's what we're going to do. And then I think this is optimistic. They say the launch happens 6 to 9 months after the genesis of the idea. That would be fast. That would be fast for them. So not a great process cycle. A lot of parts of that are cringe. Well,
and now we can go from ideas can be A/B tested in the app, rolled out almost immediately. And then they're talking about that the top talent will defect from slow legacy carriers to a place where their work has more impact, right? And like kind
no
of
question.
where the airline is kind of working for you. So this is a very kind of foundationally, this is a big difference between kind of what United and American and all the American air, like all the US airlines that we know of, what they have to deal with. And I don't envy them. That's a lot. Like instead of just building it reminds me of page motor versus like WordPress. You are able to build it from scratch because you don't have a lot of constriction, versus WordPress is like slowly becoming a dinosaur. So now like we understand like how it looks like from 30,000 feet, what the airline looks like. Now I wanted to show you guys what the day in life could look like flying with something like that.
Well, hold on. Before we do that, let's just kind of think here. What are some of the main parts of what an airline company, what they really have to deal with? Obviously, they got a fleet of planes and they got routes. That's like the basic stuff. Like that's the actual product. Okay.
Do you want me to take down this map right now or keep it up?
No, it's fine. But they got pilots, they got stewardesses. Those are the people involved with the product itself. Then you've got the gates, the people that work the gates, and they are interfacing with a lot of the information about the travelers and all that stuff. They got like origins, destinations. They've got that kind of information about people's itineraries. You've got the people at the front gate who have access to at the front check-in, who have access to similar information. They're dealing with baggage. They're compiling data for the travelers along their itinerary. Yes, this passenger's here. This passenger has checked one bag of luggage. This is going to like London Heathrow, for example, whatever. They're compiling the information in real time that the travelers, okay, they're here, they're on their journey, here's what they have. So those are like the main parts of the information they have. They also have people down on the tarmac who are like mechanics, baggage handlers, and like the direction guys, kind of getting them out taxiing onto the runway and all that. So they've got those different aspects of the business. And there's a lot of different like informational sources there. You've got like the ticketing information. You've got like the real-time arrival information. Like this is what was booked, but this is what we actually have. And all the people involved in this process really need to know what the status of the data is at any given time. That's a big challenge for these companies. And it's not just airlines. You can think about a ton of different businesses that kind of fit this mold, where
Right.
there is information happening, a totality of information, but no one really knows the whole picture. Each person has like a little view of the full picture, but it's hard to get a comprehensive picture. We are frustrated when we interact with these types of companies because we know that there is a totality of information out there that we could probably use to solve our problem more efficiently, but it's hard to get that. So that we have frustration because we know that like it's there, but it's not really there for us to grab. That creates frustration. So this is like a larger topic that you see in system design, but we have a sense that if there was an architect here who knew what the whole thing, they could help us. So AI is this possibility to have this brain that sees the whole thing, and you can query this brain and say, okay, hey, what's happening here? And it can piece together the whole thing for you. Even if you had a human in this role, a human couldn't answer 1,000 simultaneous requests, but the AI can do that.
I mean, how many times did you have to, you're flying, you have a connection, it's tight connection, you're late, you're getting late. Some airlines would kind of try to reassign you, wait until last minute, and then you still have to deal with going to the gate, doing this, and it's very stressful, especially if you're traveling with kids.
Well, so the person at the gate, let's say you've had a problem and you need to do some rerouting and all that stuff, dynamic rerouting. When you go to that person's like feverishly checking like potentials. But the AI could check all those potentials right away. You could even check partner airlines if that data were open in that way
before you even land.
So that promise is incredible. So I think about like if anyone is a super old school, if you ever went to a library back in the day, there was like really back in the day, there's like a lady, the librarian there who like you go ask them like where to find stuff. They pull a card. They're like, oh yeah, it's like rack 18, shelf 4. And then you go over there and find your thing. But like if that person wasn't there, you're not getting this information. You realize they know kind of everything and where to go. Yeah. That's what the AI is going to be. It's going to be like the librarian for companies like this where they got data all over the place. Something needs to be able to access all the data at once and to be able to make decisions on it in order for true efficiency to happen.
Right. So what does it look like, right? Let's dream a little bit. So pre-flight experience, you AI analyzes your habits and suggests a paid fast track option to avoid rushing. The app optimizes your path through security and suggests your usual breakfast order. Your seat is either reassigned to a preferred type based on learned patterns, right? Intelligent sitting and boarding. I love aisle. Some people don't. That would be great if my airline knew about this all the time. The in-flight experience, anticipatory crew service. Crew uses tablets with your data to proactively meet your needs like hydration, food, drinks, whatever you want. Synchronized entertainment, documentaries sync with the real world view outside. How awesome would that be, flying over and knowing where you're flying over and getting some fun facts of some sort? Automated disruption resolution. Before a delay is announced, the system offers pre-coordinated connection or hotel alternatives. That would be so great to land and know it's already handled.
If something has access to all the information, including the real-time traveler data, then it can say, oh, potential problem developing here. Let's seek out a solution. Only an AI is going to be able to do this. Even if you had enough humans who with the right knowledge in place, they would not be able to do it as effectively as an AI
architect. So you go from being reactive, and this is why AI is amazing. It helps us from being reactive to being proactive. AI is a proactive. It's like, what would you like this? How do I do this? So it's instead of waiting for you to initiate, it asks you a question. You still have to say yes or no or whatever. And I don't want to have this whatever hotel or whatever, but it's planning for you.
Right. Well, it's attempting to check out any viable alternatives. Right. And so go back to the earlier analogy of this conscientious person at the gate who's really trying to help you manage your rerouting because something went wrong. We are so grateful when that person is really bulldogging it for us, trying to get us a solution and really trying to help us out. But despite that, we shouldn't have to be hoping that we just get a gate agent who really cares and can help us out and is going to like seek out all the potential alternatives. Right. A system that is designed to do this could do this way better than a human ever could. I want the system on my side.
So the
competitive person on your side, I really want the system on my side.
The competitive advantage will be efficiency as experience. I really like that. So before, luxury,
Yeah.
like efficiency means luxurious, but now AI is kind of bringing that to everybody. So this isn't luxury, it's operational speed and seamless system coordination felt by the passenger that you actually matter here. And then, single AI layer coordinates all the operations, customer service, scheduling, all of that is kind of talking to each other, like you said earlier, versus unlike the slow, siloed systems or of older airlines. So why do I think this is important to talk about? It's airline. It's not even in America. They are planning on getting, thousands of whatever flights. They're growing, and I think they will be, kind of popular with that. But what is important to me in all of this is like, yes, this is great, AI native airline, but what they did is what you, a practical AI user here, can do for whatever you're building. So here's what I would do, and here's what I actually have done for my company too. I know all of my processes and procedures. I know how recruiting companies work, right? I don't want to be old fashioned with legacy systems. I literally asked AI to look through my documents, to look at my procedures, and ask, what can we do differently with AI? So I'm constantly trying to learn and figure out, what can I build using, kind of have my AI as my co-pilot, and explain to me, how can I reimagine what I'm building now with kind of AI first experience, because AI is going to help me kind of create all of that stuff. And so all my processes now are going through, and my company is going to be 13 years old. It's not as easy as they're reimagining from scratch. But if I am building a company, I am for sure trying to figure out what AI has in store. Like, how would AI reimagine this to really stand out, where I am providing this efficiency as experience to my customer, because that is who is going to stand out, and not the ones who are trying to replicate and put things in the box.
Right.
Did
There's
that make
stages to this. So like you've done some you've implemented AI for processes, certain obvious procedures that are repetitive. And then so, that's one layer. We got the data layer for the entire company that's connected, so the AI can look at this and make decisions on it. And then the layer above that this whole thing points to is this unified brain, this operator, an AI operator, an architect, whatever you want to call it, who knows the totality of the system, has access to it, can be queried simultaneously by multiple parties to say, hey, well, I've got a question about this. I need to solve this problem. What is the next step here? What needs to happen? So all of this points to businesses having omnipotent, if you will, omniscient AI brains at the heart of what the operations are. Like, something needs to know the full system. It needs to have access to all the data in the system, and it needs to be able to make decisions in real time on
right?
that data to solve individual customer problems. And if you think about the traveler on the plane who's having a problem, they care about what's relevant to them.
Oh my
Yes,
God.
I understand that your airline is having problems and that everyone on this flight has problems, but I also know in my mind that 70% of the people on this flight are now at their destination. I've got a connection. So
Yeah.
right there, I've got a unique problem that I need solved, that I don't really care about your institutional problem. I need this solved for me. So this speaks to everybody all the way down the line.
And here's what I'm noticing as an AI user. I'm testing new AIs every week. Every company so far that I'm really enjoying using, they have this AI, like, company has this wow factor. I even with Descript, I was working on Descript this week, and if I say wow, I'm like, they're going places. If it's like, what's going on, I don't understand this is confusing. Like, AI makes the wow so much easier, because it sort of reimagines everything I was thinking that I should be doing. And I will show you this in the demo in a little bit. So if you take nothing away from this is not airlines commercial over here. If nothing else, start asking your question today to your AI, whatever you're using. Claude, by the way, Claude has doubled their usage limit, so you can use double Claude for double usage.
Each of their time windows is going to give you
until
2x.
December 31st. So like, there's even more time to play for fun. And so ask the question, like, here's what my company does. How can AI, what AI features can I do? How can AI reimagine my business that will provide this wow experience for my customer? And see what ideas you get. This is what this airline did. They've been cooking this for 2 years, and now it's coming out like, ta-da! but it's not really ta-da. They've been working on this for 2 years to make
It's really a perfect example of an industry that
they're ahead of
needs
time.
this. I
Yeah.
mean, like the unified brain, it's not hard to look at your specific experiences of travel and realize, oh, something with access to all the data and all the options
Yeah.
could piece together stuff for me in a way that the current system cannot.
This is your thought-provoking thought of the show. Ta-da! Anyway, all right. Well, let's. Do you have any other last-minute takeaways before?
No, I think we beat that one to death. But it's good.
Yeah.
This is good because this is going to be happening. This is the trend of the future. A lot of stuff that we interface with is like this. Healthcare is like this. Wink, wink, wink.
It was not about airline. It was about something else.
Yes,
yeah.
Exactly.
But
system
anyway,
design is what it was about.
Yeah, system design for sure, big time. All right, moving on. So we are going to we're gonna talk today about this company called Descript. So can you see this tab? I guess you cannot.
I can see it now.
Okay.
Click the right arrow in slideshow and do presenter view, and you'll have to close a small link. It's all good though. Or a small thing will pop up for you that you'll got to close, but there you go. We're good.
Okay. This is good?
Yep.
So every week we cover a company, right? So we pick one of the companies. This is the startups, what startups are actually buying in AI. So these are 50 companies that today customers spend money with in this order. So we already covered all of these companies in orange, if you want to kind of understand. So what we're doing is every week we look at how they grew, what worked for them, what were the playbooks of how they grew, what's the pricing, what's the revenue model, are they actually making money? And we're talking about the lessons that they learned. So as you're building your product in AI, you can learn from that and you can start getting used to what's working and what's not working. So hopefully you're not going to waste time and resources like some of these companies had to do to learn it the hard way. So today we're going to be talking about Descript. Descript was very interesting to me for many reasons. It kept coming up. And we already covered Opus Clip and Kling AI as the video companies, and Opus Clip is more for shorts. Kling AI is more of like AI generated video that you want, really good for ads and promotions. But Descript does something very differently. So what is the problem that Descript is solving? In video, editing is the big bottleneck. I absolutely hate editing. I don't know anyone who loves it. So you can record something, then you have to edit it. You go, cut and paste using what's the company, CapCut. You're trying to figure this out. You try to flow. You put in the frames. I mean, if you are somebody who has a small business or you're trying to promote something online, videos are the ways to go and do it. But the constraint of the editing makes me want to pull my hair out. So what Descript solved is they have text-based editing, transcription auto-generates, you delete words from the text, and video updates. So imagine, and you will see this in a second, basically they made editing of the video as easy as editing of the Word document, which is crazy. I couldn't believe it. So you go from kind of spending 6 to 8 hours to 1 to 2 hours per episode, and customers could 4 times their output. And the pricing is pretty elegant. We'll talk about pricing in a little bit.
Their pricing is their story.
Because the pricing is their story. I think it's very similar to Cursor.
Mm-hmm.
Because they grew really fast. They generated 55 million ARR in 12 months. So that's pretty fast growth. But they clearly had some pains, to get them there. So what I wanted to talk about today was show you. So do you understand what they do? Like, I don't know if the pain is very clear, but
so if you've edited videos, you're used to editing in some sort of video app. It could be I use something called ScreenFlow, but you got like the timeline, and then you like chop the clip up and do all this stuff. That's your typical editor. What Descript does that is different is it's a text editor. And you can have the text editor show the entire transcript. You can delete words from the transcript, that kind of thing. You can also just say, hey, I need this 15-minute clip. I need to make this sub 5 minutes. I want to get rid of all filler words. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to make sure it shows these points, and it'll just clip the video down and give you the refined presentation piece based on your text input. Oh, and you can also do voice. I think it's fascinating. over 60% of their engineers are dedicated to their editor, which is something that happens in the web browser or within their app. That their engineering resources are primarily going to the editor and the UX, the experience for the user, and not into the the AI stack that's used to actually create the results. So fascinating little moat for them.
Yeah. So it was started by a guy named Andrew Mason, music degree, recording studio background, Groupon co-founder. So he understood the pain personally, right? And he wanted to solve that. They are, again, all of the things that I'm bringing here, they're highly researched, but it's a private company. So, I don't know how exact they are, even with double checking, but they're around 188 employees. They grew 75% year over year from 31 million to 55 million. So clearly the pain they're solving is resonating with their customers. And they raised $104 million total. Series C was their latest one. So let's look at the pricing, right? So I'm sharing my screen.
All right, let's see. I'll switch to you.
Yeah. All right. Can you see this?
I keep hitting add to stage. Here we go. Boom.
Is it too small?
It is a little small. You can do Command plus on that window to possibly make it bigger.
You know what? This is a lesson for me. I need to tell the better prompt for Claude when it generates this to make this visually,
Let me see.
Bigger.
Is this the unit economics one, or which one is
this? This is the revenue model. So the revenue model is casual creators. So they have different, they have casual creators.
I'll switch it to mine. I can make it bigger.
Oh, okay. So they have casual creators, power creators, and enterprise. So they start at $24 a month. Well, they do have a free trial. So you get it's 60 minutes of video that you can work with, and you get 99 credits. Which to kind of give you an idea, the $24 a month gives you around 400 credits, I believe. So they're basically giving you $6 to play with as a free user for them, right? So like that's kind of how it works. So it's light usage for casual creators, 1 to 2 projects a month. And the power creator, they get about $100 to $200 a month of dollars in AI credits. So they spend about $1,400 to $2,600. That's their power creators. And enterprise users spend about $50,000 to $150,000 with them on the annual basis. So clearly they kind of have it all for customers to use. So this is what it looks like. Oh, are you showing what their casual creators look like?
Scrolling down.
Yeah. So casual creators is not a big part of their revenue model, but power creators and enterprise are. So it's nice to know like they know who their customer is. And this is how it's subscription only models that actually breaks at scale. So what they realized, the painful lesson that they learned, was that before they changed the pricing in September, I believe.
Yeah, September was like Armageddon. All the models kind of changed they all realized there was too much compute happening and they need to change their pricing structures.
Right. So so basically what happened is once you start using a lot of tokens, their cost kind of jumps up. And that's what happened. And that's when they had to really figure out, how do we have a metered approach where people pay a monthly fee as well as the additional credits that you can buy. So you can't just have unlimited anymore. We already talked about this. SaaS pricing doesn't really work very well for AI products because there's no such thing as unlimited AI. And so that's what the lesson that they learned was that they needed to quickly pivot to a different model, but they did betray customers' trust because they had to save their butts. But meanwhile, the customers were not very happy about that.
Nobody likes pricing changes.
Right. So custom voice clones. So what do you know? Kind of what is your take on this of the lesson that they learned?
Well, first of all, my take on the market for this is that it's a lot of startups who are paying them because that's creation is a part of their workflow, video creation in particular for socials. That is like, if you don't have that department, so to speak, of your business, and your business is on internet at all, you don't really have a real business. This is part of the deal
Mm-hmm.
in 2025 and beyond. You've got to have a creation part. This is a core thing that you do, and that is the bulk of their customer base. What is interesting is that they had a $24 a month base package, and that's how they grew. This is what people were buying. They were buying the $24 a month base package, but on average, the users were consuming way more than that $24 because there were a lot of, pretty savvy users. They weren't just getting schmoes. They're getting people in Silicon Valley who have workflows here, and they didn't have a way to capture the value from them because they're, most of them are exceeding the $24 a month. So when the pricing changes hit and their costs of compute went up, suddenly they're looking at it like, oh, this was already bad, but maybe we could have used this as a loss leader to build a really big business, get to 100 million ARR, get some more investment money, and then we have a different, thing we got to confront, a different problem. Well, that 2025 September pricing crunch said, hey, we don't get to play that game anymore. We got to make a change right now.
Well, what's interesting is that the founder mission was make editing easy for creators. All right. Sounds great. Sounds like a paradise. But then they had to run against the business metric, optimize unit economics, and they became in the tension. And so Descript chose metrics over mission, right? Because they had to survive. I mean,
well, I'm not sure how fair that is. Like, did they really have a choice? Like, at some point, you got to like.
Well,
be real
because
about what's happening.
you can't be giving away for free, like, because the way make editing easy. But then it's kind of like giving your kid all the candy for Christmas and then wondering like, why am I having crazy children? But like, that's kind of what it is. Like, you can't have an unlimited anything anymore. Like, this doesn't exist in this. And I think a lot of those companies learned this at the same time, because
cost per action
has like all of that stuff. So the math problem was, I guess let's go to the cost thing right here.
All right, I got it.
So
I'm going to share this tab instead.
So what worked pre-September 2025, creators could release 4 times more content. And what broke is that overdub, voice cloning, that was $5 to $8 used in API cost.
That's
video generation was 75 cents per second in compute. And at $24 a month flat pricing, they were losing $50 to $100 per month per power user, right? So like, it was like, oh, unlimited, everybody have fun in this buffet. And then they just couldn't do that anymore. And so what they ended up doing is they had to, daddy was home, and they needed to have a very, relocate the cost structure, because look at their transcription.
That's what stood out to me. I was like, how can transcription be a bigger chunk than the video generation? Well, it's not just transcription. Remember, their whole thing is that editor, text-based editor, and processing that text editor as a prompt. That is the meat. So that's where that comes from. That's why that's so big.
So if you look at their revenue allocation, so the cost breakdown, I mean, the AI compute costs are 32%, right? So they spend a lot of money on AI compute costs. Engineering is a big part of this, 28%. Sales and marketing is 18%. Customer success is 8%. So what's interesting that they pay money to OpenAI for the transcription and for the Underlord, which is their AI product for voice cloning and video processing. And they've got between 120 and 140 engineers. So they've got their own R&D and platform optimization. And so they inverted the AI cost problem. Instead of trying to offer unlimited AI access at $24 a month, which could cost them $8 per user and OpenAI tokens alone, they separated base editing, $24 a month, covers fixed costs, from variable AI credits for heavy, it could be hundreds of dollars for heavy users. And that shifted 32% of cost to power users, who derive 80% of the value. So power users, basically, if you're not watching, they can take the shirt off your back, basically. So if
Well,
you're
this is
building,
showing companies need to really identify this demographic better and more clearly than they ever have before. Because this, in compute, in terms of cost per action, this is what's really happening.
right?
Because it's easy just to look at customers and like new customer acquisition and bottom line, and everybody looks at the same. It's a new customer or it's not. This person's renewing or not. We actually need to know what type of usage we're talking about with each customer.
Right. Money, are they profitable? Do we know?
Do what? Oh, are they profitable?
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, I
I
think
thought I saw that they were not yet, but I don't have a source.
I think they were in a lot of hot water. The customers were complaining after that. They didn't like that. Of course they don't. You just went from have it all to now your bill is hundreds of thousands of dollars when you're editing. But we're going to do the demo to show you why their product is so amazing, and that I think over time their customers are going to be actually happy with overall how they've changed this. So do you have anything else to say about this before I move into the demo part of this? Any other lessons learned?
No, I just want to point out that OpenAI funded their Series C round for 50 million. So usually when that happens, you're not talking about profitable yet.
So very interesting model. Again, for if you're wrapping it around your AI, you got to have some R&D in this case, and that's what they're doing. I wonder if they're going to start using open model, like
and this has to be what they're talking about. I did want to make that point. Like internally, they got to be thinking we need our own models for this stuff, especially for their little robot underlord, which is what they call it. But that's where you got the editor, and then this thing you tell the editor, you tell underlord, you say, hey bro, I want to cut this to 4 minutes, get rid of the like uhs and pause words and all that stuff, clean this up, tighten this message, whatever, generate some video for this part of it, like a demo.
Right. Because right now they are their retention is really good. Like the customers are staying with them because again, this is I was in awe with kind of what that looks like in terms of using their product. But I'm glad that they fixed the pricing. And let's kind of look at the demo and see what that looks like.
Wow us. Let's go.
Well, I don't know about wow us, but I will do my best.
You said you got a wow out of it.
I got the wow out of this. So let's see what happens. So I'm going to start off with okay. Can you see this?
Yep.
Okay. So everything I do, I try to do it on something that's actually useful for me and what I'm doing. And so it's actually a practical example. So this is a video of us from last week when we were going through the live demo of Google Notebook LM. All right. So I uploaded the video and I will walk you through what I've done. And then I'm going to do a quick demo of a new video upload to show you what that looks like. But this is what happens when you first upload the video. It's about 17 minutes long, and we are doing lots of back and forth. It's a live show, always has lots of lots of weird pauses or whatever. There's just a lot going on. It's not as polished, but it's raw and fun. I hope so. So I uploaded this document. So on the left, you see the transcript, right? So this is just like a text document. So whenever you click, it goes there. So it has the transcript over here. You can see what is happening on the bottom with all the frames, which looks very similar to maybe CapCut. But what's cool about this is that they have this thing called Underlord. Okay, can you see this?
Yep.
The Underlord is basically the AI that is going to do magic on this video. So for example, right now, I'm just going to say, get rid of all the, what shall we tell them? All the
filler words, I think is what the specific phrasing they use for the prompt.
What did you say? What did
you
say?
Get rid of all filler words. What did you say?
Get rid of all the filler words. So I'm giving the prompt and it tells me what it's doing, right? I'll remove all the filler words from your script to make your content more concise and professional. So this is just the one little prompt. So it's working right now. It's kind of doing its work. So while it's doing this, I actually want to go and show you my final product. after I've been prompting it to death yesterday, because this video was 17 minutes long and it was too long for me to put it up. And I wanted to make it short, after under 2 minutes long. So this is, so first I try to do, before I figure out this underlord, here's what I did. I copied the transcript, I put it in Claude, and I said, hey, Claude, what parts of this video, this is my old, this is, I'm walking you through how my old brain thinks, all right? I see the transcript, I'm like, oh, this is nice. It took away all the words and filler words, but I gotta like go to Claude and ask Claude to provide me with a transcript of the actual video I want. And then I'm going to go ahead and delete all the parts I don't want to. Okay. 17 minutes. I was going to sit there and delete things that are not necessary based on Claude. So I did that. And as I started going through and editing it, I was like, this is annoying. This is so long. I actually have to, select text and delete text and do all that work. And I was like, there's got to be a better way. So I went on YouTube and I was like, watch some videos. And then I learned about the underlord. And I was like, wait, I can tell underlord to do anything I want with the video? Like, what if I say I want my video to be under 5 minutes and I wanted to be an instructional video of the demo that I did, keep all the important pieces and parts, and just like for giggles, like what would happen, right? And this is where I had my aha moment. Check this out. It went from 17 minutes to just 4 minutes and 17 seconds. And look what it did. Do you see this?
Yeah. So it's, the gray stuff is like, it took that out.
Crossed it all off.
Yeah.
And whatever not important, it crossed it all off. So look how much it took off that I didn't have to do any of. So I was doing this manually, and then I realized, what am I doing? Like, I have AI to do this work for me. I don't need to do this. And this is what it did. So it went from 17 minutes to 4 minutes. And then I asked the questions over here. I was like, what are the key, 3 key takeaways? Just, I wanted to see, make sure that the video actually did the job that I wanted to do, and it actually spoke to my audience.
Did it add the subtitles?
Yes. So you can add anything you want. So you can add captions. You can, so like there's AI tools over here. You can edit for clarity, remove filler words. There's already prompts right here, right? So there is captions you can add, which I'm going to show you how it looks like in a little bit. But to me, you can add studio sound, which I did. So let's look. So do I need to do before? Should I do before?
Well, hang on. I just want to point out what a nice fusion this is of interfaces we know, such as old style editors, with the prompting layer. And the genius here to me is the separation of the transcript and video, but maintaining that link so you can browse the transcript and go exactly to that point in the video. It's married to things that were previously separate. And when those two things are married, you have greater control over the outcome. And that actually is what enables the AI to do such amazing things. So I really like how the AI is integrated there. It's not like, I felt like Kling was like, you really had to engineer with the prompt only. And it felt sort of open, like you're kind of hoping you're going to get what you want. Whereas this feels like I can exercise more pinpoint, precise control. This looks really good.
So what was cool about this is that, yes, it has this recommended things already pre-built. Edit for clarity, remove filler words. So I could have just done it here directly, right? Studio sound, create clips. So this is kind of like for those who are not like Power AI users yet, who are scared of like, how do I prompt this? You already have this kind of recommended ones, all right, for AI tools. Then it has captions. You can add media you want. But remember, guys, I'm a beginner. So this is like a beginner demo, right? This is not a complicated demo. I'm not a video person at all. But what was cool about this, you also have underlord over here that you can talk to and ask clarifying questions. It pulled 5 quotes from the video for me. But look at what it did with the video. Okay, are you ready?
Yep.
Everybody who has Google also gets access to Notebook LM. You go to basically notebooklm.google.com, which I will show the demo in a little bit.
But before I do that, I wanted to show why would you care? And another cool way of using it is audio overview.
Look what
You
it
can
did.
upload anything you want.
I've seen how you
Research
can even
papers,
edit and refine this based on
summarize
this. Like,
it,
this is
any
such a
kind of
good
documentation,
UI for this.
and you can
This
generate
is really
AI
good.
podcast just for you, where two hosts will discuss it conversationally.
Yeah, add a little
So it's more
dynamic stuff to the
interesting
video.
rather than reading it. You can make your breakfast, you can drive, and kind of.
Oh, I see. That's what those little
listen to
clips
it.
are
I will
in the
show you
transcript.
now the nitty gritty of what I actually
It
worked
does
on
the
for this
zooming in and
episode.
out.
I'm actually
Yeah.
going to
It
show
does
you
the
the actual
frames.
working of the
I didn't
document.
have to
It's
do any of this.
clever.
What it looks
Ooh,
like.
this is
You
good.
go to lam.google.com, and
So-
you can see this panel over here. This is where you add all your sources.
All right, pause it real quick.
This is where the chat is happening.
So
So
there
this-
is a larger trend here. Editors are sort of everything. And I hate that, like, I have to, because I'm kind of like exposing myself here. But the editor is so key to your experience with anything. Like that, like I love, you see how the little clips are in there? Within the words, you've got those little clips. That's showing that like there's a pan or there's some sort of video action going on. Like it's incredible to see that represented in the body of a transcript. You get a different feel for a video. Like I've always seen it on a timeline, but to see it like this, I don't know. I feel like that's sort of like opening some things up for me in my understanding.
Yep.
I love that, but this is also it's indicative of a larger thing that like the better your editor is, the better it captures what your experience is, the more delightful it is to use, and the better your outcomes are going to be.
So you can literally go in and this is what, now that it's so the prompt that I gave the underlord, I said, hey, take this video, make it under 5 minutes long. Like I said, the instructions were keep the demo specific to my users to be as helpful as possible and focus on the main, points. So there's not a lot of fluff going on. So this video now is shorter and I can go and correct the, what are they called? The caption.
Fix the subtitles by just doing that, which is amazing.
I can edit this. I can edit this just like as the document. I can keep if I want. I can delete if I want. And so you can even generate part of it. Like here it says LM, so I can just write.
Yeah, exactly.
LM in there. And so you
So
you can do all kinds of things. And to me, this was the most powerful thing about this demo. Again, as just a beginner, I'm not claiming I know it all, but for me, as somebody who doesn't do editing much, this is a great start to start somewhere with. So
I think this is given some key points of leverage. I think the fact that you can, so like if you've used CapCut or one of these other tools to generate captions, you kind of have to live with the failed transcriptions, the failed, like it doesn't understand what you said. It puts a bad word in there, an inaccurate word, and you just live with it because we're not trying to go do some 3-hour editing experience just to fix a couple of bad words in the captions. Like, who cares? Right. But this actually gives you a way to clean that stuff up to make sure it increases the clarity of the final product, which is so good. I mean, I think makes me want to use it.
So here, this was like the beginning of this, like when we took the filler words. So now you see when the filler words are out, like I'm going back to the initial video, it literally crosses off anything it doesn't want to. But you can always go back and like, if you want to keep it, you can keep it. But to me, this is a great start to take a long videos that we're very famous for, make them shorter and start putting on our channel that actually shows the meat of what we talked about. Or we can just re-record it. This was the demo of how to take a longer video and make it a shorter video with transitions that I don't even, honestly, like I have no idea how to
it really enhances the thing. Like it's giving you these little fly-ins and saying like, okay, this is what we're talking about now. I think it's really good.
And you can go anywhere you want on this text, and just kind of make it smoother if you want to. So I was very happy with this. And this was my wow. Once it went from 17 to 4 minutes, I was like, I didn't have to go anywhere else to any other AI product. I was able to stay in Descript, use Descript products to create the video that I want. And as I'm going to continue to learn how to use it, I know it's going to be more, better and better for me. So
here's a random user question. Is it possible to hide all the hidden text in your script so that you don't have to scroll through as much?
Oh, I don't know.
Can you hide that gray text?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that,
Seems like there
but
should be a toggle switch. Like,
maybe I don't know. This is something for me to learn for next time. But that's the demo. Play with it. I was able to create a lot of stuff with free version. So this is what I did over here. I just edited a video, but you can create, generate with an avatar. You can do rough cut of a podcast. You can create social clips. You can create slides into the video. You can do so many things. This is just my beginning of just getting my hands a little bit dirty, but you can create the video. Honestly, I can just take that Riyadh, document, the day of, whatever in life with the new airline, and put that document in here and say, create a video with animations for this, and it will create that.
that would be really cool to see.
So that's going to be next, and that maybe I'll do that for the next time, but to kind of, reuse a lot of documents that we already have to make educational videos. But this was my first try, my first demo. What do you think? What were you as wowed as I was?
I'm wowed by the fact that they've latched onto a UX, a workflow that seems obvious after seeing it, but it's incredible that I've not seen this before. I just never made the connection that the transcript ties in so tightly to captioning.
Why
and
would I
if
want
you
to?
had access to one, you could clean that up and also the video content. One thing, so if you're editing a video and you want to remove filler words, for example, it's not hard to identify the start and the stop of that, and you just cut that out. Like when this sound happens, you just cut the beginning and the end. Like that's actually pretty achievable, and like all these things have tools to do that now. But just being able to do that from the transcript itself, like that makes so much sense. Just cut this out. It's like, okay, I know where to go in at the beginning of the sound, the end of the sound, we'll just cut it. Like that's something that takes so much time to go through a video and do, like literally hours on like an hour-long video.
When it went from 17 to 4, that's when I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is that AI magic moment.
Adding like fly-in effects, like stuff you'd use Adobe After Effects for. Adding that stuff, like, hello,
this is just, you know what I'm excited about? This is my first draft, right? What would happen when I actually use it and become a little bit more professional about it? I will post this video as my first kind of try, and it will be on our YouTube channel, but it may be a little bit clunky. I don't care. That's how it's messy, and that's how I learn. My notebook, it's just like every week it just keeps building on itself better and better and better. The more I understand how to use it, and the more I understand that the true AI native products, they build magic in it, and it's my job to figure out how to use it more effectively. Because before I figured out the whole underlord, I was doing this the hard way. I was going to different AIs and trying to manipulate and control and figure this out. And then after about like 45 minutes of that, I was like, wait, what? There's an easier way?
Yeah, if you're context switching, you're not using a good system yet.
Right. Well, that's how I know. Anyway, so that was a cool thing. I love the product. It looks great. I cannot wait to see what else you can create with that, especially with all the information we're kind of generating here. So on that note, let's move on to our last episode segment of the day, which is the funding. And do you want to pull that up?
Let's have some funding. I got it. I like this because Claude kind of doing a little different thing this week, showing off its design chops. I love it. We're going with a synthwave neon sign vibe.
Yep.
Claude using a cool monospace font called Space Mono. You love to see it.
So funding this week, it was a slower week. Obviously, it was a slow week, but still, $1.2 billion was raised. I'm not loving the magenta kind of pink colors.
Oh, I kind of dig it. It's neon signy. It's synth wavy. We need a soundtrack.
I know, but it doesn't really show very well on.
Here, let's make it bigger. Computer enhance. Computer enhance. There we go. Look at that.
You're magical. Anyway, so AI funding got 41% of the funding. Other sectors got 58%. Actually, this time I went ahead and looked at what the other funding is besides AI. And because remember last time you said, I wonder who else was raising money these days?
Yeah.
The top 3 were renewable energy in general, and financial services. Those are the industries that are getting money besides AI.
That's hilarious.
Yep. I figured that you would like that thing.
I love it. Thank you for the enhancement.
Right. So top 5 companies got 72% of AI funding. The largest round was Erebor, 350 million. That's in the fintech. And 39 companies raised money. So when people say no one works the week of Christmas, this is just kind of shows you that people are still raising money and closing deals on that. So
money still works.
Scroll down geographic concentration. So United States was busy. We got 45% of the funding with 19 companies. China was behind us. Wow, finally, 36%. They're declaring that they're raising money. So maybe they are. 5 companies raised money there. 3 companies raised money in Europe. So here's what it looks like. Top 5 companies by country breakdown. Can you scroll down a little bit? United States got 2 companies, big companies that raised money. China got 2. And Croatia got 1. So the mega round phenomenon, the top 5 AI companies captured 1.1 billion out of 1.25 billion total AI funding. Since single company Erebor represents 28%, this signal a market, there you go, that word, bifurcation.
Bifurcation, yep.
Bifurcation. Hate that word. Mega rounds for proven revenue generating AI versus fragmented seed ecosystems. The era of speculative AI is the future. Funding is over. And now it's ruthlessly focused on measurable ROI and clear competitive moats. I am really pumped about 2026. We're going to see a lot of those companies making moves. I am building a company that I'll be talking about soon that is definitely capitalizing on this. I know we're building Page Motor that is going to be capitalizing on all of this. So this is an exciting year for those building an AI.
So real quick, so Erebor was the top.
Talk about. Do you want to talk about trends or talk about top 5 companies?
Let's talk about Erebor real quick. So that they got the most money this week. What is Erebor? It is a digital bank co-founded by Palmer Luckey and Joe Lonsdale, who was previously at Palantir. Palmer Luckey is sort of a controversial figure these days. He's
why?
Well, he is.
You muted.
He's been pro AI for military usage. He is sort of like pro defense, like war type defense. He wants to go hard there, so a lot of people don't really like that he's sort of obsessed with that kind of thing. He's a gamer nerd. You know, he releases like there's a famous console called Game Boy from Nintendo from late 80s, early 90s. He's like did a little pet project where he like remade the Game Boy and re-released that. So he does all these kind of nerdy sort of like, I feel like he's like a throwback sort of like 80s, 90s kid. They play with guns, play with Matchbox cars, video games. Like, I don't know. It's kind of a guy's guy sort of thing, which is sort of rare in Silicon Valley to have that set of obsessions. But this digital bank is sort of interesting because they're crypto first, they're AI first, and to see that they receive this amount of funding, this sort of catches me off guard a little bit. And Erebor is named for a mountain in J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings.
I figured it was something familiar. Crazy.
Yeah. This is not your typical Silicon Valley stuff. That's why this is sort of making expressions I am and everything. So kind of interesting. We'll track them.
So scroll down. Let's look at what the top 5 companies. Let's talk about them, and then we're going to talk about trends. Keep going. Okay.
There we go.
So here's Erebor. They are AI-powered banking for the innovation economy, whatever that means.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Galaxy Bot from China, intelligent universal service robotic products. Oh, well, here we go.
There's that again with China.
Robotics again. China is DP technology, AI for science, accelerating R&D and research. Interesting.
We haven't seen any biotech, life sciences, health stuff from China previously. It doesn't mean it hasn't been happening. They don't really report stuff, but that's the first time we've seen that from China.
And then this company is Mlinar. Is that what they called?
Mlinar, yeah.
Europe's largest bakery network with AI operations. Bakery. Europe got their priorities straight.
Listen, Europe is serious about bread.
I know.
Serious about
China
bread.
is about robots. Croatia is about bread and bakery. This is great. And then cargo industrial AI for warehouse logistics optimization. So I have a feeling that with all this money raised, I feel like Europe and China, they're all raising for specific uses, and America is still burning a lot of money on general LLM models and this and that.
Infrastructure.
And we're gonna be having a lot of lost money at some point there. But if you go up, there is trends that you like to talk about so much. So there you go. Go up.
Scroll up. Okay.
Yeah. So there's the trends.
Ah, yes.
Mega rounds dominating, US-China duopoly, I
Yep.
guess. Practical AI winning. I like this. Industrial robotics, supply chain optimization, fintech infrastructure attract mega capital. Investors reward companies with measurable unit economics and clear revenue models. This is why we talk about unit economics, how these companies price their thing, what do they do, how do they grow, so you can do the same thing as you're building your companies.
And you can also make choices about like what you use, making sure that it's a model that like looks like it's going to be sustainable.
Yep.
A lot of these tools that we're talking about today or have talked about the last 3-4 months, probably not going to be around in a year.
Yep.
But a few of those players absolutely will be, and they will have gotten the alignment on their pricing.
I also noticed that the Series A and B companies struggle. So middle market AI companies face a funding gap. Seed rounds are active, mega rounds are abundant, but Series A and B companies struggle, which I think is interesting. And then robotic acceleration, we are seeing physical AI and robotics companies. This is what's going to blow people's minds. When this next year or whatever, 2027, suddenly these robots are going to be everywhere. And we're like, they just came out of nowhere. But meanwhile, this has been cooking this whole time, just like this Riyadh Air has been cooking their AI native airline for 2 years. This is what's happening with robotics. I'm kind of terrified.
Well, there's a phrase for this. It's like slowly and then suddenly all at once.
Right. It's like the bamboo, right? It's like
do,
and this is what happens. Well, listen, this is all we have on the funding. What's your takeaway from today's episode?
My takeaway personally is that I need to be like really vigilant about trying to spot things like Descript, where they've transformed a familiar UI with a new magical layer that really, like what they did is really only possible because of AI. And there's a lot of things like this that we don't see yet because like it's impossible to sort of imagine the future that doesn't exist yet. But when you see it, you can start to be like, oh, I see now. So I'm going to be looking for similar patterns to what Descript has shown me elsewhere, kind of light bulb moments. Like what is this missing layer? And for video editing, the missing layer to me after seeing this is the link between the transcript and the actual video itself. If you have that, you don't need the timeline scrubber in the same way. And that suddenly transforms your whole experience. Like, oh my God. And actually, there's other ways I see that the transcript connects to the editing process and to the final video. And it's like all these light bulbs suddenly going off. Like that is super, super cool. I love the future tripping aspect of Riyadh Air and what they're doing. I love to think about, so like there's a lot of pain around airlines. It seems big and complicated. It's heavily regulated. It's a big industry. It's like a big thing. It's got all this gravity. It really shouldn't. It's just a system. And to think about these, I also consider airlines to be a legacy system at this point. It's cool to think about legacy systems getting redesigned in these ways. We can think about the points where greater efficiency can be had. And also, like, I love to analyze these things, thinking about this omnipotent, omniscient AI brain that knows everything about a company, and you can ask it at any time, and it knows all the data, it's connecting all the dots, and can do that at scale. That is super cool. That would transform a lot of our experiences in life.
Oh, I cannot wait. This is gonna like, why would anybody take a cab anymore if you have Uber? Why would you take any airline that doesn't use that anymore in the future? So that would be interesting.
It can coordinate with all your devices. It can get you the information you need when and where you need it. I mean,
to see that.
Nice.
Well, my takeaway was after playing with Descript, so here's my biggest kind of takeaway was you got to pick something that you're working on that is relevant to you, right? For the project that you're working on, because it needs to be something that it's not just, oh, let's play with this for fun, even though fun is great and playful. But when you actually take in something that you got to do, or you got to learn about, or you have, like, we have a lot of content on the show that I know we're not using 95% of it for repurposing of the content. So for me, kind of, it starts with a little bit being brave. By anytime I open a new tool that I don't know anything about, it's almost my brain kind of starts screaming like, what are you doing? It's new thing. I don't want to do, like, my brain does not really want to go that path to learn something new, especially like I spent 45 minutes yesterday trying to go play with AIs when I had this magical tool right under my fingers. But because I didn't watch instructional video first, I was like, I'm just going to play with this and see what happens. Kind of like Chris when he puts IKEA furniture together. He doesn't want to read instructions. He just wings it.
You can never complain about me and instructions again.
I wanted to wing it, and then after spending 45 minutes, my brain was like, "Oh my god, this is annoying." And then I watched the video, literally 5-minute video, and I was like, "Oh my god, the light bulb went on." And then this is the fun part. This is what my takeaway is: using new tools will not be very comfortable. Our brain does not like learning new things. Like, we want to be kind of in this thing. But every week, by taking a company and learning about them, and here, just like pop in and see what's happening. Like, we already covered all these companies. By taking one company and applying that workflow and seeing, it's like trying a dress on. Does it work for me? Do I like it? Does it not work for me? Like, I tried Fixer AI, which we covered weeks ago. It's changed my work. Like, I don't spend that much time on email anymore because my email is handled. And there's a lot of things I like about it. So I'm kind of like selecting things that work for me, even though my brain does not like it in the beginning. And then I'm watching and seeing how can I make it work for whatever it is I already work on. Not for fun, but even though it's really fun, but actually for practical use. So what I guess my takeaway is, my long-winded takeaway is, what are you working on right now? And what is it? Is it the content generation? Are you building operationally something? Are you working on the sales? What piece right now would you want to learn AI for? Go to Claude, go to OpenAI and see, this is what I'm doing. What tools do you recommend for me? And go try a tool, because you may find something that will save you hour a day, 2 hours a day, and this is not going to be worthwhile. And this is what AI is for. So that's kind of my little inspiring takeaway tool of the day from a practical AI crazy person that I am. But
I love it. I want to double tap on that because I'm real bad about tool adoption. I use stuff I've been using for 20 years because I'm such a curmudgeon. It's painful to go use a new tool. But a pattern I am noticing is that these AI-powered tools are different. You know, switching from Photoshop to something else, within the last 15 years, it's not that different. It's a different thing, and maybe you're doing it because you're saving on cost or whatever, but it's sort of a lateral move, and you do have to learn this new thing. And that sucks. There's like a pain and the frustration, whatever, associated with that. These tools are a little bit different. If you know a little bit about video editing and then go into Descript, you suddenly see like a powerful new layer. So you definitely have to shake off some of that rust of the past and be willing to go fart around with these new tools, because there's probably some workflow unlocks and some delight. Like, this is a big thing I use all the time. If I'm using software, and I'm going to like go to a new piece of software in this thing, I need to be delighted. Using that thing needs to provide me with some measure of delight. If it doesn't have that, it's not it. And like these new AI tools, there's a lot of that going around. There's little bits of delight. You can go seek that out. If you have that delight, you've also got a lot less friction in the adoption of this new thing. Like, it's gonna fit like nice clothing. You're gonna be right in that environment. You're gonna be riffing and jamming right away. And so like that, to me, I'm like amazed by that. I'm like, maybe I can quit being, such a curmudgeon about adopting new stuff. If they've given me stuff like this, I'll be using that, happily.
Well, so I 100% agree. And what it feels like to me every time I use something like with a true amazing AI tool like this, remember that book where you kind of have to, a lot of like images in there, but you have to like look closer and then
Magic Eye, yes.
Magic Eye. So that's what it feels like to me with AI. It's like the magic eye, because you walk in there with your expectations of how things should be, and then it kind of blows you away, and you're like seeing something that you could not unsee.
Right. Wait a minute, it could be like this.
And that's what magic of AI is. So thanks for being here. Appreciate your time. I think next week we're out. We're going to be in Colorado, but maybe we'll record a video, short a video or something like that. I don't know. I haven't talked about this yet, but we appreciate you being here, listening to what's greatest in AI. You heard it here first, and go out there and use it.
I made 1 point last week. I was like, I'm going to make 2 points. And I made one of the 2 points. I couldn't remember the other one. I remember the other one just for the edification of our great audience. So if you have a YouTube channel, like we do these lives, this is the bulk of our content is doing these lives. If you just do lives, they never give you a channel boost on like traffic or anything. You don't get recommended. Like it's basically a dud, a nothing. And so what we showed today about remixing like segments of our show and clipping it down into more social, friendly clips. What we should do is do that and then publish those under videos. So you got shorts, videos, and lives.
Yeah.
You need shorts and videos to get any velocity in the YouTube algorithm. We've learned this now after doing this 22 weeks. And so what Olga has shown today, her demo is actually perfect. We'll just have to take our little segments of the show, remix them with something like Descript, publish those as videos and as shorts where applicable. And that sort of becomes the content flow from what we're doing, because already doing the live is its own amount of work. It would be nice if we didn't have to do any extra videos beyond like, my page motor demos and stuff like that.
Not gonna happen.
It would be nice if we could just remix what we already have in a way that's appropriate and will work with the Google or the YouTube algorithm. So that's sort of the takeaway. If you're running a channel, be aware of the fact that lives don't really get you squat.
No,
you need to be using something like Descript to remix your stuff for socials.
We even talked about maybe we shouldn't do live, but I think live videos is the future in a lot of ways, because this is the reality. Like you get to see the real people, and then we can repurpose that. And it's like there's a lot of magic that happens live, and then we can repurpose. Like this is the next step I'm gonna work on, is how to repurpose the video to grow our audience. But I love that we get to dig into it live. So for now, we'll see.
Yep. All right, that's it.
Thanks everybody for being here. I appreciate you guys. Have an amazing Happy New Year, and we will see you in 2026.
We will see you next year. Later, gang.
Keep it live.
Oh, we will.